The Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act, or DREAM Act, was initially proposed in the U.S. Congress in 2001. The timing was not ideal, and the legislation has not passed to become law, despite repeated efforts. At the heart of the legislation is how to address the millions of undocumented immigrant students, often referred to as dreamers, who have lived most of their lives in the U.S. and are living in the shadows of illegal immigrant status. This research delves into the questions of the real and potential advantages and disadvantages of allowing these dreamers to remain in the U.S. The literature review incorporates 23 sources. The discussion identifies implications of the research in a country built by immigrants and challenged with both nativist and more tolerant immigration policies over the years, reflecting dynamic economic and social mores. Although there is an abundance of academic literature related to undocumented immigrants, we found the scope of the information to be narrow. Academic texts focused on process and government records provided text records of proposed legislation and congressional hearings, the latter reflecting partisan politics. We found peer-reviewed articles to be biased towards supporting the undocumented immigrant students. Using the narrative policy framework method, this study recorded quantitative and qualitative information. Noting the levels of analysis of the literature, stakeholders identified, and information related to our research questions, we gathered, organized, analyzed, and synthesized the information in an effort to identify answers to our research questions. The findings reveal that most of our sources carry out analysis at two or more levels, that is, the macro, meso, and micro levels. Qualitatively, the narratives and studies tended to start at the micro level and broaden to the macro level of analysis. Significant stakeholders include Congress, the President, executive agency officials, the courts, undocumented youth, taxpayers, state and local officials, media, and citizens at large. The literature we referenced included undocumented youth in 78% of the sources, and Congress in 61% of the sources. Executive agency officials were included in 39% of the literature and taxpayers in 34% of the literature. The real and potential advantages of allowing these students to remain in the country include bringing skilled, educated youth into communities, the workforce, and the military to vitalize these sectors and offering potential as entrepreneurs, skilled workers, homeowners, and productive members of society that would stimulate the economy and contribute to a healthy, diverse nation. The real and potential disadvantages include incentivizing the flow of immigrants, offering illegal workers jobs that U.S. taxpayers could have, runaway government spending connected with crime, education, and social services, and giving false hope to immigrants. Overall, the issues surrounding undocumented immigrant students continue to be debated. Opponents include some congressional members who are players in this process and oppose any legislation that allows for amnesty. Academics and interest groups identified in the literature may act as context setters, and most are proponents of finding a solution that recognizes the real and potential advantages of allowing these students to remain in the country. We have only touched on the subject, and with further research one could analyze a broader array of sources and identify coalitions that could be cultivated to facilitate progress on this issue. Thank you for your attention. We appreciate your interest and feedback.